Let's go.
But Shedeur has had a very nice camp. He looks like Deshaun Watson.
Shedeur Sanders reported to Browns training camp on July 28th, walking straight into a quarterback competition a lot of people didn't think was real. Then Zegura, the Browns' own play-by-play voice, a guy with an office inside that building, started talking. And what he said about Shedeur's camp and what Deshaun Watson said about himself in the same breath is not what the outside narrative has been selling you. Stick around, because by the end of this, you're going to see exactly why this quarterback room is a lot more complicated than anybody's letting on. Let's set the table first. Shedeur Sanders is in a straight-up competition with Deshaun Watson for the QB1 job in 2026. And when you look at the two of them side by side, it really comes down to one thing with Watson. Can the man stay healthy? You know the injury history since he's been in Cleveland. And it wasn't just health talk coming out of OTAs and mandatory minicamp either. Multiple reports said Watson wasn't accurate, said he looked fine running around, but didn't look good throwing the football. Now flip it to Shadur. His question isn't health, it's progress. Has he actually taken a real step from where he was as a rookie? And here's the thing, this isn't outside noise talking. The coaching staff themselves have said Shadur made real strides. He's processing faster, getting the ball out of his hand quicker. His feet are lining up right before he throws, no hesitation. That's exactly where Nathan Zegura comes in. He was at nearly every OTA and every camp practice. His office is inside the Browns facility. That means when he talks, he's not repeating something he saw on a beat writer's feed. He's getting it from people like Todd Monken and Andrew Berry down the hall. So when Zegura starts talking about Shedeur Sanders specifically, you lean in a little. And what he said first is simple. This is a real quarterback competition, not a formality, not window dressing while Watson waits his turn.
Let's go.
But Shedeur has had a very nice camp. He has progressed so much in terms of his pre and post snap process, his ability to get through his reads and his progressions, process information, get the ball out quickly. He's done a very good job with that, and he's been in the building constantly, and really, I think, has made a big leap since his rookie year. But again, also on air, not football. That's what we have to see. But yes, this is a very real quarterback competition, and it is a two-person quarterback competition with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders.
Now, stop and think about that phrase for a second. On air, not football. Why would Zegura say that right after praising Shadur? Because there's a second half to this story, and it's about Watson. Zegura moved right into Deshaun Watson, and this part is where things get strange. He said Watson did a great job speaking to the media for the first time since his injury, and he got asked directly about that brutal line from owner Jimmy Haslam calling last year's QB decision a swing and a miss. Watson's answer was to compare himself to a baseball hitter. Said even a guy like Bryce Harper goes up to the plate, swings and misses, and gets back up to hit a home run. That's the mindset he says he's bringing back into this building. But here's what Zegura said next that people are skipping over. None of this, Watson even getting another real shot, happens without the coaching change. Todd Monken is running this now, not Kevin Stefanski, and Zegura called Monken as straight a shooter as there is in this league. Everybody got a clean slate under him. Zegura brought up Monken's resume to back it up. Baker Mayfield down in Tampa, Stetson Bennett winning 2 national titles at Georgia, then Lamar Jackson, who plays nothing like Bennett. Monken has shown he can build a system around whoever is standing under center. So Watson worked to get back in shape. He's reportedly in great shape right now. The ball is supposedly jumping off his hand. Zegura even said Watson looks mentally like he's in the best spot he's been in since arriving in Cleveland, through, in Zegura's own words, his own fault or not his own fault. That's not a throwaway line. That's Zegura acknowledging there's a human side to everything Watson has been through publicly, on top of the football side.
And I thought Deshaun did a great job. He spoke with the media for the first time since he got injured, and rightfully so was asked about that very comment that you brought up about when Jimmy Haslam said that it was a swing and a miss. And he said, listen, Bryce Harper goes to the plate sometimes and he swings and misses, and then he gets back up and he can hit a home run. And so that's what I'm trying to do. Deshaun is in. Now, I'll also say this. I don't think without the coaching change that this would maybe be possible. So I think Todd Monken comes in, and he is as straight a shooter as there is. Everybody got a clean slate. And so I think that allowed for Deshaun Watson maybe to have this opportunity to play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns again that might not have existed otherwise.
Here's the part that should actually be the headline, and almost nobody is running with it. Zegura said their quarterbacks have been more efficient in this camp than any camp he's personally seen when it comes to completion percentage. Watson was sitting in the mid-70s. Shadur, according to Zegura, was up near 80%. Sit with that. In a camp Nathan Zegura himself is calling the most efficient he's witnessed at that position, Shedeur Sanders is out-completing Deshaun Watson. Not a fan account, not a burner page, the team's own play-by-play voice saying it on the record in the building. Zegura wasn't declaring a winner, though, and he was honest about why. He said this is all in shorts. Nobody's getting hit. It's not football yet. Watson's explosion reportedly looks good coming off 2 Achilles tears, and his arm looks strong. So Zegura's actual conclusion was that yes, this is genuinely a real competition, not a coronation for either guy. That's the strange part of this whole situation. You've got a front office that has invested $230 million fully guaranteed into Deshaun Watson. You've got a fan base and a media conversation that assumes Watson's job is basically safe no matter what the tape says. And then you've got the team's own insider putting out completion percentage numbers that say the rookie is currently ahead of the guy making franchise quarterback money.
Todd has been so successful with quarterbacks from a variety of backgrounds. You know, you think about even with Jameis down in Tampa, to Stetson Bennett at Georgia, where he wins 2 national championships, to Lamar Jackson. I mean, Stetson Bennett and Lamar Jackson could not be any more different as quarterbacks. And so Deshaun's worked really hard. He's in great shape. The ball's jumping off his hand. And I think that he is mentally in the best spot he's been since he's been in this organization. Through his own fault, or to his own fault, and he said this, you know, he's been through a lot. And I think that...
But completion percentage in shorts isn't the whole argument for Shadur. There is something else he's not getting enough credit for. Shador's biggest strength might not even show up in a stat line. It's what he does off script. Coaches around this league talk about how a quarterback has to manufacture something on his own a few times a game when the play call breaks down. Go back and watch what Shadur did last season. He made plays that weren't even drawn up because the offensive line wasn't holding, because nobody was getting open. He extended plays and turned nothing into something. That doesn't show up in a highlight reel of a perfectly blocked 5-step drop, but it's the exact skill that keeps a young quarterback alive behind an inconsistent line. And this year, he's not walking into the same situation. Denzel Boston is 6'4", 215 pounds, with the kind of length that wins contested catches against almost any corner in this league. Isaiah Bond is heading into year 2 after reportedly adding around 15 pounds of good weight, and the deep ball chemistry he had with Shadur last season is already there. Add in a versatile weapon who can line up anywhere on the field, a developing tight end room, and a real running game behind him, and Shedur's supporting cast this year does not resemble the one he had as a rookie. So when Zegura says this is a real competition, he's not saying it in a vacuum. He's saying it while Shadur is out-completing Watson on the practice field, while Shadur has visibly better weapons around him than a year ago, and while Watson is still trying to answer for a season that ended with Cleveland's own owner calling the decision a swing and a miss.
I thought he had a very good camp. Our quarterbacks have been more efficient in this camp than any camp I've seen in terms of the completion percentages. He was in the mid-70s. I think Shadur was up near 80. He's pushing the ball down the field. He looks like Deshaun Watson.
Now here's what I want you to actually take away from all of this. Nobody in that building is publicly declaring a winner. Not Zegura, not Monken, not the front office. But when you strip away the money and the draft capital and just look at what's being reported off the field, Shadur is completing more passes in the same practices, he's got real weapons for the first time, and he's already shown he can create outside of structure when things break down. Watson has the physical tools and reportedly looks explosive again, but he's still rebuilding trust after a season that even his own owner called a failure out loud. Zegura's report doesn't hand the job to either guy. What it does is make it a lot harder to pretend this competition is decided before pads even go on. So I'll leave it with you the same way Zegura kinda left it. If Shadur keeps out-completing Deshaun Watson once the pads come on and this becomes real football, does Cleveland actually have the nerve to bench him for a contract? Or is this finally the year performance wins out over money? Let me know down in the comments. Smash like and subscribe.